Today, we are going to be talking about the possibility of Yankees first baseman, catcher, and designated hitter Ben Rice possibly making the change to third base when Giancarlo Stanton returns.
Yeah, it's inevitable. Stanton's going to be coming back at some point, and we don't necessarily know what state Stanton's going to be in. Obviously, it's a little bit fragile, although he's going to come back, and when he does come back, he's going to be in the lineup every day, and that's going to be at DH. But then, what do you do with Ben Rice, who has some of the best hitting metrics in baseball right now? He's absolutely smoking the ball. He has the results to back it up. He cannot be on the bench. And, kind of we're going to be briefly diving into is the possibility of him playing third base. Um, Look, Ben Rice is obviously very talented, uh, although it's not necessarily the most normal thing to have a catcher move to third. So I know that might seem like the obvious option. We kind of have a hole at third base right now, and we have an extra DH. But I guess, Ryan, how would that necessarily work?
Well, we've seen it happen before, Christian, in baseball. There's this old thing in baseball, right? If you could play first base, you could play third base, and vice versa. We saw Alex Rodriguez at the end of his career play a little bit of first base. As we know, he played short and third base as well. But catchers have played some third base. You look at some notable guys: Johnny Bench, Joe Torre, Josh Donaldson. Russell Martin played a few games at third base for the Yankees, 57 career games at third base. And we all know catchers are very athletic. They have great arms. Obviously, first base makes it easy for them because, they're doing something similar, and that's catching the baseball. But a lot of them have the potential to play third base as well. And it would be interesting to see Ben Rice at third base because, look, the Yankees are going to need to find a way to get his bat in the lineup. He's tearing the cover off the ball. He's one of the best hitters in baseball to start the season this year. You're not sending him down. And look, Giancarlo Stanton is going to be the Yankees DH. He can't play the outfield anymore. You don't want to risk having Giancarlo Stanton getting injured. And I've heard some talk about some platoon situation, and I've even said it myself. But Christian, I think the Yankees are paying Giancarlo Stanton $32 million dollars this season. They are not going to pay someone $32 million dollars to be a platoon DH to just get hits against left-handed pitchers.
Yep.
It's just not going to happen. Now, some things could change, right? Ben Rice could cool off. Something could happen, God forbid, and the situation could play itself out. There's still, some time before Giancarlo Stanton is on the field. And, the Yankees don't have an exact timetable for Stanton. Boone told reporters this weekend that he's getting close to taking legitimate swings, but he's still right now hitting off the traject machine. So who knows what's going to happen? But look, we saw it last season when the Yankees traded for Jazz Chisholm Jr. He never played a game professionally at third base, and we saw him move over to third base. He looked okay. He played the position well, but we saw that, right? There was some mistakes. There's a lot more than just being able to field the position. You got to know where to be in certain spots. So it would kind of be what the Yankees have done in years past that a lot of fans have been frustrated with, right? Like playing guys out of position. But I think the Yankees might not have a choice because, Christian, I don't know what other solution they have.
Yeah. I mean, trade deadline options, but just like immediate future, it seems to make the most sense. Also, the Yankees moved Jazz to third base last year, so you'd have to think they would be willing to test it out. Although, I do have to be honest, Ryan, I don't know if I can picture it. I know Ben Rice is a catcher first baseman. I know the old saying first base, third base, but I do feel like Ben Rice is sort of a bigger, stocky guy. I just don't know if I can picture him uh, being necessarily mobile because third base is different from first, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. But the bottom line is you just simply can't take his bat out of the lineup. And if it comes June or August and we have DJ LeMahieu starting at third base and Ben Rice sitting on the bench and playing every 5 games, that's going to be a huge problem. So,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think if I were the New York Yankees, I would try to get some Ben Rice. I would try to get Ben Rice some action at third base right now. Not in a game or anything like that, but
yeah.
to, let him get some reps at that position. Let him take some ground balls before the game. We saw Gary Sanchez when he was with the Yankees. I remember he went out one time and he was just taking some ground balls at third base because the Yankees were thin at that position. That's what I would do with Ben Rice. I would get him some ground balls, see how he looks, see how how natural of a fit he is there. And that's going to help you better understand if he can even play the position. And if he can, and if he looks good out there, give him a couple starts a week at third base, figure it out. It just gives the Yankees a whole nother option and makes their life a lot easier. Do I want to see Ben Rice in a playoff game at third base? Not necessarily, but we have no idea how he can play the position. We don't know if he could do it good. We don't know if he can even play it at all. So, who knows what's going to happen there. But if I was the New York Yankees, I know Stanton's going to be coming back and I need a way to fit Ben Rice in the lineup. I know I'm kind of have a platoon situation right now at third base. I'm going to give Ben Rice some reps at third base. I'm going to have him take some ground balls, see if he can do it. And if he can, it opens up a whole nother door for the Yankees.
Ryan, if I could, I would call him up and tell him to take ground balls at third base and evaluate how he looks. We're just fans. We can't do that. But I really hope behind the scenes that is what is legitimately happening and they're starting to think about that because this guy can't get moved out of the lineup. It's plain and simple. He needs to stay in there. He's one of our best hitters right now.